Rugby World Cup 2023, folks. Pool A sees France taking on Namibia this weekend from Marseille. We're going to go through some squads, predictions, stats. You guys can let us know your thoughts. I swear my voice is slowly getting better, but still not quite 100% just yet. France, 2 from 2. Very convincing against the All Blacks in week 1. Less convincing against Uruguay in round 2. Namibia, they've had 2 games, Italy and New Zealand. They lost them both pretty comfortably. And interestingly, they've made a bunch of changes for this game, but remembering that Namibia go all 4 games in a row. So their last game against Uruguay, which is probably their best chance to get a game with a win, is maybe the one that they're saving some of their big guns for. And for them, that's a week after this game. So maybe that's hinted at with some of their selections. Anyway, we'll go through them. France, back to the big guns. Who's back? Well, it's a who's who of French rugby at the moment, is it? Baille is back after going into this tournament with an injury. He is back at loosehead prop. Mauvaka is up from the bench. Atonio is back after playing the All Blacks and sitting against Uruguay. Woki and Flament are still there in the second row. Flament's up from the bench. Woki gets his 3rd game. He's one of the guys getting a lot of minutes at this World Cup. Cros is there at 6, up from the bench. Ollivon back into the 23, and Jelonch is there at number 8. There's no Aldrit this week. Seems he is nursing a bit of a knee injury, so no need to push him into the 23 if it's not necessary. Dupont is back at 9, and he captains the side. Jalibert is there at 10. They will continue to build some chemistry between those two. I think the more game time those guys can get together before the knockout stages, the better. Danty is also back. He's another one of the guys who went into this World Cup with a slight injury cloud, but he is back and he's fit, so that's phenomenal news for France. He is a proper ball carrier and a proper turnover merchant. Fickou is there at 13. He made 14 tackles against the All Blacks. Was very busy. Penaud is there on the right wing. He's back. He beat 6 defenders against the All Blacks, had 2 clean breaks and scored a try. He's very good. Bielle-Biarrey switches to the left wing in the place of Villiers. So Villiers, even though they denied it in the press conference, seems to have potentially dropped in the pecking order. And then Ramos is there at fullback. His kicking game kept the French on the front foot territorially against the All Blacks. We will see if they still use his boot as much against Namibia. Bourgarit, Wardi and Aldegheri are your front row replacements. Taufifenua drops to the bench. Penaud drops to the bench. Kuyu is there. Moefana and Jaminet. So 3 backs on the bench rather than going for a 6-2 split for France. It's a very strong looking side. They will in all likelihood win by a significant margin. Probably a few good fantasy team picks in there from the French guys. For Namibia, like I mentioned, they have France this week, and then they have Uruguay. And the fact that there is no Vanjasveld, there's no Swanepoel, there's no Stevens, etc., makes me think that Namibia is partially keeping some guys fresh. Richard Hardwick, who's probably their best player, is on the bench. Like, he's one of their top carriers and their top tackler. The fact that he's on the bench makes me think they're saving some guys for Uruguay. Maybe I'm wrong. I haven't seen a press conference with Alistair Coetzee, but just my guess. They have brought in the bench guys to start in the front row, except for Jan Coetzee, who continues on. They've brought in 2 new locks, and Chirico and Ludic. I think Ludic plays like 3rd or 4th division rugby in France, so he should be kind of a home away from home. They've brought in Kajiko to start at 6 and moved Retief, who was one of their better tacklers in the last game, 8 from 8, from the second row to number 7. And then Gauseb is at number 8, also a bit of a tackling machine. Daysel still captain at 13. Danko Berger comes in at 12. Remember, Leroux Milan is out with a pretty long-term injury, 6 months, he said in an interview. So fingers crossed. He's recuperating well. Gershwin Motan is the only try scorer for Namibia thus far. Scored 1 against Italy. He is still on the right wing, so 3rd game from him. Was kept pretty quiet against New Zealand, to be honest. Van der Berg comes in at fullback. Lobser shifts from 15 to 10. We didn't see him kick much against New Zealand, which was a little bit surprising. And JC Grayling is also back. He started the first game, bench for the second game, is back starting on the left wing for this one. So, yeah, like I said, it's going to be a tough day at the office for Namibia. They will get beaten by a big scoreline. But as I said, they will want to keep the powder dry for that last game against Uruguay, where they can really potentially show us what they can do. History between Namibia and France is 2-0. 2007 Rugby World Cup, it was 87 points to 10. And 1999 World Cup, it was 47-13. So, yeah, they like playing games in France, these two sides. And this will be another one at Marseille. The bookies have got France by 67 points, which is potentially not that surprising. Matthieu is the ref. It's a late kickoff, 9 o'clock, which is 7 o'clock in the morning for me here in New Zealand, which works out pretty well. You guys let us know your thoughts on the game. Subscribe to the channel. I'm going to go take some cough medicine, and I'll talk to you guys again soon. See you later.